Okay, we're live. Destination cannot be done. Okay, hey, we're live. It's James speaking, trainingsites.io. Um, Today, I tried to do YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter slash X, and it looks like one of them didn't connect, so that's fine. If I do end up disconnecting, I apologize because it's probably because of bandwidth. So stay tuned. I'll get right back on when I can. So what do you want to talk about today? If you haven't been to these before, these are live ad hoc sessions. I'll answer any questions that you have to the best of my ability, and we can investigate together if it's something that's way off my particular level or pay grade or expertise. But I do have a lot of experience when it comes to starting, building, growing education businesses, and specifically about building privately branded campuses and doing all of this cool AI stuff. So would love to talk about that. I did put on the title of the thumbnail today that I think courses are dying a slow death, well, actually a fast death, but and I still believe that. There's been a lot of buzz around traditional course sellers over the last little while as they're starting to realize this. But we can certainly talk about that and what's going to replace it, which I really think is the privately branded campus, which my company and I've been building for quite a while, actually. So we can certainly do that. So if you're new here, let me know who's on. Let me know what's happening. Uh, Share where you're from. Give me a thumbs up. Ask questions in the chat. I'm here to talk about anything to do with AI and education. So who we got here? Let me know what's going on. No comments, lurkers. We'll see what happens here. What else we got here? That one, no, we didn't get going. Okay, yeah. So let me know what's going on. Who's here? Where are you from? No questions. I'll just talk if no one has any questions because there's always lots to talk about. We can talk about Claudebot, which is now called Moltbot, which came out, I guess, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, but really kind of caught fire on Friday. We could talk about that. We can talk about stuff that's happening in the platform space or how to set up your business or campus. We can talk about creating content. We can talk about automations and workflows. Just all of the AI stuff, obviously here to chat about. And again, any questions, put them in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them. Who we got in the chat? Not a single soul in the chat. Oh, that's disappointing. So I'll just talk a bit. Here's the one I just before we get into the course part, and this is why I'm so excited about 2026 is this thing called Claudebot. If you haven't heard about it, it is a wrapper or a level over top of Claude Code, which does one thing, and that allows you, we'll do a couple things, but the big thing it does is it allows you to have an agent that you can chat with your phone using Telegram or WhatsApp or iMessage or Slack, or there's a whole bunch of platforms. But the whole buzz around this is that you can now tell it something to do in a chat and it will actually go and do it. That's the first thing, that you don't have to be at the terminal. You can basically chat with it, just like Jarvis or whatever you want to call that computer always being on from Iron Man. It has persistent memory, so it learns each time that you have that conversation back and forth, which is really, really cool. And the other thing is it's proactive. So if you have a set of tasks or skills, or you've been training it for a while, like the employees I've been talking about for the past 6 months, it will actually go out and either make recommendations or start doing it, or you can obviously give some guardrails as to what you want it to do, either act without your approval or at least come to you with suggestions and actually go out and do it. So the cool part, of course, is that this is here. And I did a video, I think it was on Friday. I'm not going to install it. I have a Mac Mini set up on the side ready to install it. It does take a little bit of technical knowledge, which I don't really have, but there's huge issues around giving an agent access to your computer and to all of your accounts. So I'm not going to be installing it. I think I won't be able to, I think I'll be able to hold off. And here's a couple reasons why. There are huge security issues around it from what I've been looking at. You do need some technical background on it. And here's a part that I think there's two things, and this is a part I put in the video, and the ones that are really, really important, at least in my opinion. The first one is that the skills that it needs, and this is the benefit of it. I think what's happening is most people still don't know what they should be asking their agent to do on their behalf, or they haven't thought through the big changes as to what's happening and how we can interact with all of this AI stuff over and above a chat and a response. And I know for me personally, I've been putting libraries together, and I do have them in a number of other videos, but I've been putting libraries together on all of the different things I would like an agent to do on my behalf that are business related or in the education space, content creation related or research related or community admin related. So I think the part that is exciting about tools like Claudebot, which is now called Moltbot because it was CLAW, claw, like lobster claw. And I guess Claude, the AI tool, got upset. So they changed it to Moltbot. So they hear those two names. But I think the exciting part of it is it's going to get people to start thinking differently about skills, and the skills that I've been talking about with Claude and with Gemini, which now both support the same skills files. It's understanding what is possible. That's the exciting part. The second thing that's coming on this is I would suspect, and I'm guessing here, but from kind of the threads I've been watching and the people that I follow, we're looking at brand new versions of Google in the next 2 weeks. Now, I've heard a 3.0 kind of general availability for the Pro model, but I've also heard 3.5 Gemini, and I've also heard that there's going to be a brand new interface to Gemini. And what I suspect is that we're going to see the same functionality that Claude has now built directly into Gemini without the security issues. Now, it might be a little more limited because it has less access, but still, for real people who are not overly technical and are a little bit hesitant to hand over the keys to the kingdom, I would think that in the next, maybe 2 to 4 weeks, that's going to be available not only with Gemini, but I think it's going to be available with Claude Cowork, which we've been covering over the last couple of weeks. So I think this is the exciting part about Claude and these agents and automation. It's starting to get us think a little bit differently. And then, this whole thing with 2026, agents, 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 agents. Start thinking about agents, not one, but agents, multiple agents working in parallel or in sequence, getting tasks done. But the question is, what tasks do they need to get done? So start making a list going through there. So let me see who we got on. Sorry, that's my rant about it. I'm not installing it. I'm going to wait a little bit. If you have installed it, make sure to go to trainingsites.io. Let me know who's actually been on working on it and what's going on. Where did my sidebar go? I don't know. I had the chat there before, but it seems to be missing. So that's okay. Who's on? Hey, Peter. Thank you very much for Virginia. Kelly Kerr, new member. Thank you. Philippines 589. Hey, Philip. Thanks for coming on. Claude is closing Claude accounts using Moltbot. Hey, how about that? There's one there from Peter. Yeah, so I guess when you install ClaudeBot, you have the ability to connect it to a bunch of different AI tools in the back end, and one of them was Claude. And I guess they're not too happy about access to it to run it. So you'll probably have to put it on another tool, whether it be, I think OpenAI ChatGPT Codex will work with it. And I'm not sure what's running from AI Studio, pardon me, or Google. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there. Here's the thing other thing that's interesting, I think, about this is when you take a look at what some of the technical people are doing is they're actually running or buying hardware to run locally. Kimi 2.5 came out yesterday. There's another one called, I think, GLM. You need a bit of a bigger machine there, but these are very capable AI engines running locally on your network that you don't have to pay for. And now you have this wrapper on it, like a Moltbot, that allows you to do things with it for free, and then start thinking about that. The other thing that caught my eye last year was actually from NVIDIA. They had a box that they were selling, and NVIDIA is the one that basically builds all the computer chips that run all of this AI stuff. They had a box, and I think at the time when they had their, in 2025, in the fall when they had their yearly wrap up kind of thing. They had a box that was $2,000 or $3,000 that runs a GPU at your home to run your own engine. So, we get going here a couple months from now, 3 months, 6 months from now, you got a machine in your house, in your office, and an agent available to do all sorts of cool stuff for you. So, Melody Jackson from way back. Hey, Melody, how are you? Haven't seen you in a while. Hope things are going well out in California. Perfect. Yeah, so anything else that you want to talk about? Is there any other questions that you have specifically? Is there some AI examples that you want to do? We could actually go and cover what's happening in the course space. That's kind of what the title was. Um, I've had a whole bunch of discussions recently with other members and people who are in the education space, the formal education space. And I'm talking about traditionally, educated teachers or people who are currently teaching. And it's been a really interesting conversation because things are moving very, very quickly in that space. And the ones that I've been talking to understand that there's an issue, but people still kind of don't get it. And it's going to be, this year, I think, is that transition or that inflection point where there's going to be people that get a handle on agents and it's just going to explode what they start doing and what start thinking about. And this is about content creation, it's about engagement with people, it's about educating people. The tools that are coming out now are absolutely astounding, not only for us, and this is a part that I think most people think and why courses are in trouble, but anyone who is taking your traditional course or you are doing a traditional, one of the members was talking about yesterday. I remember when I went to university, it was like a lecture hall with 500 seats in it in a bowl with a professor speaking for 2 hours or 3 hours, and it was people nodding off or falling asleep or not taking notes and having to pay for a textbook that was renewed each year by the professor so that he got more money from selling his textbook. But it was like static lecture, study, test. That's all that it was. That is not the case right now. I know one of the things that just came out, where's the link? I'll pull up the link. This one just came out last night, actually from Google. And this is one, I'll pull it up here. They have this thing called Agentic Vision, so Gemini for training and education. The only reason I'm showing this one here, again, it's available. If you haven't joined trainingsites.io/join, it's there. The community's free. All of the content is free. Actually, I have a course I'll just show you that'll be published a couple minutes after we're finished here. I did it this morning. But the only reason I'm showing you this is that I get a lot of people who are not doing information products and they're doing hard physical skills and they're trying to teach hard physical skills. And a lot of people go, well, you can't do that with AI or it doesn't really, really help. Here's an example of one, and I'll open this up so that we can see it. Is they have this Agentic Vision now. This is the demo. The link is there. But this is something now where we can actually interact visually with physical things. And go take a look at a demo here because you can actually start zooming in and taking a look at things and actually chatting or asking about the particular pieces that are there. And they do a whole bunch of different examples, about computer boards and pieces through here. So just go play around with that. We've got physical things, whether it's playing piano or using a saw or doing sports. Any of those things now are back to a place where we've got Gemini interacting multimodally with content. So that means we can build apps or situations for this, but more importantly, it means that the students or the people we used to sell courses to can do the exact same thing. So I think this is an exciting time to start thinking ahead a little bit on moving forward on this. So what do we got for questions? Who else has something that they want to talk about? What are some other things that are important to people? What else are people working on? Are people still creating courses? What are you guys doing? Let me know in the chat there. Put some comments in about anything that kind of happens. If not, I will talk a little bit about I think I'm going to talk about the campus and why those are kind of important, I think, moving forward. And I will give you an example of one of the other ones that I'm working on when it comes to agents and how I think this is going to change everything within a campus. So give me a thumbs up if that is of interest to you. If you want to talk about that, let me know what's going on there. Here's kind of the I will show you one of the things that I did, and I'll bring this up so that we can actually go and see it. So if you aren't using Claude, there is something called, and I can't use it on the desktop. I got to use a desktop one. So this will bring this one over so that you can see it. So right now I'm in the desktop version of Claude. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this one here. Now we have Claude Cowork, which is one that allows you to do tasks or give an agent task. Now, this is kind of that space before ClaudeBot or Moltbot, and you can create a series of tasks and it goes and it actually figures out a plan, knows what skills it needs, know what tools it needs, and it will go out and do it. So I've been playing around with this for a while, and one of the ones that I think for exciting for me specifically is I built out some skills for a campus ambassador. And what this is, and I actually built it out, it works. I built it out so that it goes through the community and it looks for feeds or it looks for responses or questions. It gives encouragement to people. It is just an agent that works directly right within the community and the campus. So this is something that I gave a whole set of skills to. And when I was running it in Cowork, I said, hey, just go and work your magic. It went through and I had it set up to look for any questions and then respond to the questions and have it give answers to the questions or refer to parts in the campus that would do it. It had ones where people, it had a skill, for example, that went and congratulated people when they did something in a particular space or group. So there's just an example of now where you can have someone as an agent working with a set of skills, completing tasks that normally we would have had to do. And you can have it in whatever type of encouragement that you want. It's your ability to capture the essence of the skill, have it as authentic as you want. And in my case, I had it identified as campus ambassador so that people knew that it was actually the ambassador going through. So here's the question that I kind of think of and start playing around with this. Is it, and Melody, I will answer this question right a second. Melody was just asking about doing email courses. I'm going to talk about that as well. Yeah, so the thing with the ambassador is that if I look at this, I had to run the skill. I had to say, go and do it. So what's happening with ClaudeBot is that I can just ask my ClaudeBot or my Moltbot or my agent and just say, go and check on the members. That's it. Now, right now I have to text it, but I don't, 30 days, 60 days from now, that's on the phone or in front of my computer, just saying, hey, go check on the members. It knows what to do. It has the skill set. It has access to the community. It knows the rules, and it's me giving a verbal command to a digital employee. Completely done. Absolutely done. And I think that availability for one agent doing one task is why we've got to start thinking. An agent for research, an agent for create social medias, an agent that comes up with ideas for things, an agent that lets you know, for example, how many people have logged into the site or the community, how many people haven't posted, how many people are stuck here. I was playing around with it today. The ambassador, so it has access to Fluent CRM, so it knows when the contacts have logged in. It knows what tags they have, so what courses they've purchased, what groups they're members of. I have an agent now that can go and do maintenance on the contacts that I have in my CRM, and they're part of the community or the campus. So I think, these are the things I'm thinking of. And the part that's scary to me is most people go, oh, this will happen in the future. No, no, no. This is happening now, today, and it's not going away, and it's only going to get easier. So, if you're in the education space and you're thinking, oh, I just have to be an expert on something, and if I put it in a course, I'm going to be good. Uh, I don't believe that at all. And, the only thing that I hope happens is people start thinking outside of the box a little bit on how this all fits in together. And again, if you haven't already, join the community. This is my sales pitch. This is the only way that I promote the campus is I try and get people to sign up for free, get involved in the community, and I have automation that does all of this stuff after, which is a part of doing a privately branded campus. So one of the things that got asked here, and Melody was asking, it seems like more people are doing email courses. Have you seen that? Funny that you mentioned that, because I created a skill for email courses, and I 100% agree that we're going to see that again. And I think I did a video, it was one of the last videos talking about this, because if you're a little bit older, um, if you're, yeah, Kelly, I'll get to that question in 1 second. Kelly was just asking about LearnDash and Agent. So here's kind of the gist on the email. When I first started, and again, this is a long time ago. When I first started, there before courses was email courses. That was the only way to do a course. And in fact, the course was a series of emails over 7 days, and it had a start and a finish, and each email was a long form email, and it didn't even have a video in it. It was text. And it was basically a process or text that you would today find in an LMS, but it was an email, and people had to wait each day to get their email. And the whole marketing gist on this is that you would either get people to sign up to a newsletter so that you could email them, and it started off once a month. You did a once a month email newsletter, but it got to the point where you had information that was important that people wanted. You didn't have a platform to basically give it, but you had email, and you used to send an email, and it would have, the instructions, the information, maybe links to some additional resources, but it was a sequential set of emails over a set number of days with a start and a finish. And I think this is something actually that is going to, it is starting to return. And you see a lot of people do something similar to this on a Substack, as an example, is one of the platforms where people give a portion of the Substack or the information and then have a daily kind of lesson that goes with it. But they're posting each day with a partial answer to a question and the details in behind, either with a Substack or an email. Now, the thing with email is you still have to have a subscriber list, and you have to have people to opt in. And when I first started in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was like email was gold. If you could get someone's email address and start building out a list that was an engaged list, you could start selling anything really, really quickly. You didn't even need a website. You only needed some proprietary information that was structured in a way that could be delivered to have some kind of win at the end for people. So yes, I think email is coming back. Now, I think what's interesting on this is that it's not going to be static information, but it's going to be a sequence of application and implementation of tasks that you're going to remind people on, and that those tasks don't rely necessarily on you learning some content, but more importantly, using an app, doing something, and then either reporting back an email or at least sharing with a group or community what's happening, what's not happening, to get clarification on the application of it. And that's why I think having your own privately branded campus is so important. If you don't have the emails, it's still emails. If you don't have the emails, and pretty soon the phone numbers, Fluent Community has SMS automation coming out, I think next week or the week after. It's just in beta. So your ability to reach out to people outside of the campus to bring them back in, but that email address is gold. And that's why on every YouTube video, every video that I do, that I just say, join the community for free, is because I get your email address. That's the only reason I'm doing the YouTube content. First reason. Um, Second reason is for the transcripts, which is the video that I did yesterday. I did a live stream on why sloppy videos work. But yeah, grab email addresses as fast as you can and start thinking in sequences of content or applications of content, not the content. So what is the app? What is the prompt? What is a use case that gets applied? What are the problems and implications and challenges of it? And start thinking, how can I do this in a YouTube kind of, or sorry, in a newsletter or format of email course. Now I'm going to show you one thing. We'll get to that question in a second, Kelly. Here's something that I've been thinking of, and I'll show you this right now. And I've talked about this a little bit on how you can have an email course and AI embedded in it. So here's an example, and this is one that I've looked at specifically with some of the people in the education space. Um, Here's the actual, I have a course coming. This is actually, I did a video and a course. It's free for you guys. I haven't posted it. I was just setting up the titles and thumbnails on how to create really cool infographics with Notebook LM over and above what most people are doing. So we'll cover that one in a second. So if you get a chance, what I want you to do is go to, we'll do this one. Let's do this one. So I want you to go to Google Labs, or labs.google, I think it is. Yeah, labs.google/experiments. Now, this is the one that I'm really excited about for the education space and works really well with email courses, and I'll show you why. There is one in here, and again, this is me. Oh, that's a new one. I haven't seen that one. Choreographic tool. Okay, cool. Here's the one that I think is really, really cool. And this is the one I'm excited for. This one is, if you're old enough, look here, this one here is called Disco. And you'll also hear the word generative tabs. So if you're old enough to know what a disco is and you went to a disco when you're younger, it's hard not to forget this one. But Disco is a place to test AI features for the web. The first one is called Gen Tabs, and you remix open tabs into totally customized apps with Gemini. So go take a look at this one, and this is the one that I'm thinking of and got me thinking about email courses again. The way that this works, and go through, they have live demos of this. The one that they have here is for a trip. So you'll see there's a whole bunch of tabs, and it basically creates an application on the fly based on the tabs. So gives you meal planning, gives you the trip places. You can actually have an interactive app made personalized to you based on the tabs that are open. So here's kind of the thing that I'm thinking of going over this is, if you had, and I think this is the one here, if you have a course that was a traditional course in an LMS like LearnDash, where it's like a video and some text and something like that, what about if you had a series of tabs that you gave one each week, or access to one of the tabs each week? And on the tabs, or in the lesson, you gave people prompts to use, challenges, all sorts of stuff, and told them to go and interact with Gemini and build what it is that they're trying to build. So this, again, this is available now. They haven't rolled it out, but these are demos of live versions of this. There's no website for this. There's a browser with some tabs. This is building applications on the fly. Your job is to send people to the tabs, maybe on your website, that you have actually got set up with the prompts, or even have it on your platform and have it as something you can say, hey, email day one, give them access to this one. You don't tell them what the other tabs are, as an example, until they get the next email. So it's kind of a sequential course or drip course that you're doing, but you're giving an email to actually go out and send on that. So just an idea to think of. This is something, if you do get a chance, make sure to go to Google Labs and play around with that and take a look at some of the videos. Now here's another one. This one I didn't see till today, the choreography tool. Now here's an example of one where we've got those, the one that I showed you earlier about the multimodal understanding pictures. Here's one where they've done one specifically for choreography. Very cool. I'll have to go take a look at that one and try it. It's there. Yeah, this is my personal thing. I think what's happening now, what's very close, what I was talking about earlier, is things like Opal, Pomeli, the Google apps, and these other ones are going to start being brought together in a single interface that you and I can use, not Anti-Gravity, which is another programming interface. It's going to come up so that it's a lot easier for us to use, and there's going to be all of these embedded. So there's going to be the agents, there's going to be the workflows, there's going to be these mini apps that get built. And start thinking about that when you're thinking about, oh, I'm just going to have some particular course. So I want to talk about this one right here, because Kelly was just asking about, do you think LearnDash might provide the agents? I can give you the answer, Kelly, that I think you want, but I can give you my kind of 2 cents on the LMSs, uh, and even to some extent WordPress itself. So I personally, I again, this is for me. I don't know about you, the complete business that you set up and the business model that you've got running. And I think the interesting part before I answer that is if you haven't already, please make sure and go to trainingsites.io right here. I'm just going to hide Kelly here for a second because this is the 10-step process that for the last 30 years I've seen every education business go through. And the part that is always hard for people that they skip is understanding the topic, not the niche, but really the topic that they're going to have their business around. I don't think niches are a value right now. I would much rather pick a topic that is much broader than a niche. But here's the campus goals for the education business and the profitable way that you're actually going to deliver that. And this is one thing that I think any of those LMSs have a problem with. A majority of the LMSs that don't include certification, that's the caveat. If you don't need certification and multiple instructors where there's kind of blended learning, I think the LMSs might be in trouble moving forward. I have a feeling that they're having difficulty because people are using them with traditional content, and you're losing the value of being able to um, control access to content when no one needs the content anymore. So will they have to go with something in agents? Yes. Will they do it? I don't think they have to because you can do it now by yourself just by adding agents on your WordPress site and giving them access to that content. I have AI Engine, for example, that's running here on trainingsites.io. And if we go to any of the tutorials, this agent that shows up in the bottom right here, this one is actually running off of the content that is on the website, wherever it is on the website. It's trained on the content in the website. So, will you have an agent that answers questions about a tutorial in LearnDash? If that's the question, um, why would they build it when it's already available today with all sorts of different tools and it's using the same content? So I have companies that we do work with that need or require certification so that the instructor or the business knows that they've gone through a process and they've consumed content. It's not that they need to learn the content. We have to know that they consumed the content and they've met a basic level of understanding and they need a certificate or something like that. Yeah, you're going to need some kind of LMS. But if we're having this conversation at the end of the year in 300 days or 320 days now, um, I think they might be kind of in trouble for those ones. So I don't think they're going to make agents. I don't think it's worth their time, energy, or effort. I think the agents that you'll see from these are ones that are about creating content to put into the actual LMS, but I don't know the purpose of the LMS anymore. And in fact, I don't have any more courses and I'm not going to create any in the future. I may put a sequence of videos with explanations in them, but it's just a way of organizing it, not having it as a course kind of thing. So, or marketing a course. I'm not marketing any courses anymore. I'm not creating courses on purpose. I'm just creating as much content as I can in the community library, in the community, and I'm giving access to everyone to everything that is in the library. It's all there. Everything that is available that I create on a regular basis is there. Everything that community creates is there. It is just a library about a particular topic. So that's the kind of way that I'm thinking of doing it. So hopefully that helps or scares you. Again, my 2 cents on this depends on the business model that you have, depends on the topic that you're in, and it depends on what it is that you need to do. Whether it's something where, again, multiple instructors, where you actually have a blended learning or cohorts, where you want to make sure that they're doing something over a period of time. I think there's much better ways to run cohorts now other than keeping it in LearnDash. I would much rather keep it in a group, which is a traditional group and open discussion, and provide access to AI tools apps and other processes where they actually use and create content on their own without you giving them content. I'd rather teach people how to create their own content as opposed to organizing content for them and forcing them to actually go through it. So there was a couple other questions here. Let me go through, and Peter was there, and sorry, Retail Jedi, that language one, I don't know how to translate that one. I'll have to learn on it, how to do that one. And again, Kelly's there, Relief, honestly, jumped into materials and ready to re-platform everything. So here's one of the, sorry about Retail Jedi, I didn't get a translation of that. So if someone knows Parrot, I believe, I don't know, French. Again, I'm guessing. I'm in Canada. I should know if that is French. There's some French-looking words there, or if it's Spanish, or I'm not quite sure. So I apologize that. So Peter was asking, are there some plugins or how to use WP, how to use Fluent to manage email courses? Absolutely. Do you want to create one? Give me a thumbs up if you want to create a course. We'll actually do it live if you want, and I'll show you how you can do it in Claude, and we'll actually go and have it posted directly to Fluent CRM if you want. Give me a thumbs up. Actually, put a topic in, and I'll create a course on the fly here, and I'll actually set it up as an email course. And I'll do it without logging into WordPress. How's that? Give me on that one to manage the courses. Yeah. What else do we have for questions? Any more questions? Thumbs up. Okay. Replatforming. So give me a topic. While I'm doing the replatform part, give me a topic and then we'll actually go and create one. Okay. So here's the part. I'm going to go over just the platform, and this is the way I'm building things out. This is the way that I'm seeing other people that I've known for a long, long time in the course space, part of what they're doing, but my gut is telling me, and the experience that I've been getting and the feedback from the people is that this is resonating with people, and it's answering the question, how can I have an education business in the space or when AI is there and all the content is free? So this is kind of what I've come up with. I'll go over it briefly just so that you see it, and then we'll come up with that particular topic. So this is the one I did about, this is, if you didn't see this one, I was talking about AI killed sales pages, which is another interesting video. I did this one as a live one yesterday or the day before. I got rid of all my sales pages as well. And I think this is another thing that's happening in the privately branded communities that we've been working on. So let me just pull up the other one here. This is a campus business model that I'm working on and working with, and I'll show you the phases of it. And this is where it's like replatforming what your business is about if you're in an education space. And again, I'm not talking about selling widgets. I'm not talking about e-commerce. This is something that works well when you need someone who has expertise or domain expertise in the application and implementation of content. So this is kind of the business model, and I'm just kind of minimizing some of it. And this map is, of course, available. This map is actually, the 10-step process is actually here. So this is the 10-step campus map that is available for free, but I added some phases here so we might be able to talk about it, and then I'll create a course for you, an email course. So here's kind of what I'm doing, and this is the part, I look at this as this is the business part of it. So I think anyone who wants to create an education business, I'm not talking about don't sell a course, create an education business that has some legs to it. The first thing is you have to collect everything that you're doing live and in real time while you're doing it. So that digital exhaust about your topic, capture it somewhere, and start collecting it and start organizing it in a way that AI can use and that the people that you're trying to help have as reference material that can help clarify all of the answers they get from YouTube and all of these other places. So this is where something I built a topical authority map. I have some skills for that. We've done it in some other videos. It's just some topics, categories, pillars, and questions that people have, but you collect all of your data, capture what you're doing while you're doing it, and explain what you're doing while you're doing it. and capture it first. And then you want to make sure that you have a platform to actually build this on. Now, I'm using WordPress to do that with a stack of tools from Fluent. Um, Fluent Community has a basic LMS in it. It also works with Tutor LMS or Lifter or LearnDash. If you need to have a very, very structured LMS, it'll do that as well. But you want to collect your materials and you want to build a community site, and you want to make sure that you organize and put your content into the community, and you want to open your door. So this is your own platform that allows you to organize stuff. And I think of it this way: if you're in a crowd of everyone creating content that is automatically generated, you want to make sure that you have a library that raises yourself up, because you have a place for it to be organized in a way that you can kind of rise up above the crowd and know, hey, I have all of this information. It's all organized. It's about this particular topic. If you want to come in, all of the access is free to you to have, to get that information instead of searching all over. I've got frameworks, recipes, ideas, strategies, all of that is here, plus the information to actually go and start applying it, like access to tools or special skills, for example. They're all available here. So that's kind of the first step, and I give it away. Two reasons. One is I want your email address. You have to register to get access. The second thing is that every time that I do this, there's two important things. I get the transcripts and the content that is available for me to repurpose, and it's available for any of the AI tools externally to have access to my library of grounded content about my topic. So if you're an expert on scripting or being an actor or getting resumes and getting jobs or learning how to play baseball or whatever it happens to be, you have that kind of knowledge base that is there. And if you want to license your knowledge base, you can. If you want to give access to that, if you want to repurpose it, you need to have something that is grounded, that is your content. So collect, organize, and actually build some kind of library. Now, here's the part that is super cool about this, and I don't think people kind of get. And this is one that we're talking about earlier in the week with some of the other members at training sites, is that when you start out building your community, you have an idea of what people want, but most people collect the information that's here based on what they think people need, and they don't validate, of all of those broad topics, they don't validate what is important to the people that they're attracting or that want to attract, and the way that it actually gets presented. So what that allows you to do is basically validate the message and the delivery of it before you commit to doing anything further. So, prove what you want to teach. I ran into this personally. Everyone that I've been working with runs into a similar part of this, where you start talking about something and that's an iterative process that changes over time. So just kind of be aware of that. Second one is, and we'll get to the email in a second, doesn't take too long to build out. So build your cohort classroom. This is the one that you charge for. Live cohorts, not lectures, but it's actually working on particular tasks. We have 4 different cohorts that we run. One of them is about building your campus. One of them is about building out your AI agents and platform. The other one that is really important is about actually automating all of it and being able to run this as a business as opposed to just creating a content. So you want to schedule those, and then you want to start running your cohorts, and you charge for these. Anytime you guys want access to me personally, or the cohorts, or any of the working sessions, you got to pay for it. That's my business model. And I think this is a huge bonus for anyone that maybe was a teacher and thought they had to have a course. It's flipped now. I think the real opportunity is for people who like talking to people, who want to share their experience, who want to work with people. Do it in these cohorts, which is not the same kind of scalability, but I think it's a much higher value charge than people who are creating just content and racing to the bottom. So there's a middle space and above, and this cohort part is the part where I think you can charge a lot more money than you would for a traditional course, and have fun doing it and learn yourself as everyone's learning with you. And then all about the operations and stuff. So this is the business model or the platform that is replacing courses. And you'll see in here, there are no courses. There's a library of content here that is organized and curated about a specific topic. Maybe it fits into some kind of process, what used to be a course, excuse me, but it's not take this course and mark it off as done. So people talk about learning journeys and additional pieces. That I think is covered in this particular area, not in this area. And the ones for the cohorts, the reason I've picked out 4 is because I have one for this one for this one for this one, and then a wrap-up one. So that's kind of the way that I've set it up. So hang on, I gotta get a sip of coffee here. Yes, it's cold out here. I'm in Canada. It was snowing a little bit earlier, so we do have a little bit of snow. If you're in Texas, give me a thumb up. Excuse me, a thumbs up if you got some snow. Okay, here we go. So let me look and see which, okay, so the course here. What do you want for a course? Like, give me a topic. Give me a topic to put in. And right now, I'm doing the cohorts. It's $1,000. So the schedule will be up, I think, in the next day or two. I'm just running the first one with that. They're going to be $1,000. In the payment gateway is going to be the shopping cart product. There's not going to be a sales page for it. That's a part that I haven't put up yet. And it's a real soft launch on this one that we'll do. So, okay. So let me do, I'm going to open up Claude here. We'll do Claude. And again, I don't have a good, we'll do this one here. We'll go to Claude. Okay. How much? So I'm in Claude, I'm in Cowork. Don't have to be, but this one is better for tasks. I'm using the max plan in the bottom, which is a $100 a month one. The only reason I have this one is because I use it a lot. I don't want to run out of what are called tokens, and I want to make sure that I can run longer tasks. This Cowork that does multiple tasks in sequence, following a to-do list or a plan, is available on the $20 a month one. It's just if you have really complex ones, you're going to run out basically of space in the task and it will stall. So I'm just going to go here and I'm just going to basically use the chat here. And again, I've done a couple of videos on this one and I just want to say, I'm just going to make sure I'm connected. Just want to make sure that it has access to the tools. I have some employees. One of them is for creating email courses, but I just want to make sure I have access to actually have it go. There's one that's not connected. We'll close that. Starting the agent up that's working, and we'll see what it comes up with and goes through this. So what I'm going to do is, there's also Claude and Chrome here. So we can have, we've got browser automation. So this can take over my browser if it has to. Has access to all of my files that I give it in the folders. And I've got WordPress, Fluent CRM, Fluent Community, Fluent Cart, Fluent Support, Fluent Boards, and Fluent Booking. So I have a MCP tool that is connecting to those ones. I have social media. I have Appify for scraping. I have YouTube for extracting YouTubes, iMessage, and some custom workflows here. Okay, so what do I want to do? So again, if you don't give me one, scraping data ones. Okay, so let me do, I want to do a 7-day email course that explains or teaches, we'll do teaches, beginners about using scraping tools like Appify and Firecrawl to do research or competitor research. And again, these are not perfect prompts. I'm doing this quickly on the fly here, right? So I want to create a 7-day email course that teaches beginners about using scraping tools like Appify and Firecrawl to do competitor research. And again, I could put some guardrails in on this that I want it to be a minimum of these words. I want it to be another things. So I'm just going to put some basics in about it. Limit the emails to text only, because we're just doing it as a demo, to text about, we'll do under 1,000 words, and action items with each message. I want them to schedule them 1 day apart using my default email template and in Fluent CRM. I'm just going to say, ask me any questions, and check the resources to complete this. Before starting. So what I'm doing is I'm just giving my agent a task on what I want to do. I don't have a skill for this, so I could have created a skill that is my 7-day email course skill. I just give it a little bit of a prompt, and now it's going to make sure that it has access to the tools, and it's going to go do this and make 7 emails a day apart about a particular course. Now, mine right now, you'll notice it says allow access, so it just wants to double check. It's making out the project. My agent's going and working. I'm just saying yes to go ahead. You can actually have these ones so that it allows it always in the settings. I want to double check my employee. I don't trust him quite yet, so we'll have him make sure that this goes to work. So on the right, you can see the task list will be built out, working folders that it's in, the contact and the tools that it's using. Connected, it's working. Looking for the default template. I could have a template in Fluent CRM that says email course template that looks a certain way. Default template, see if we can get it, and it's going to go work in the background. Now, of course, the thing that's cool with this is that I don't have to be here. The only reason I'm looking at this is because I have it set up that it checks to go ahead and do something. But if we're comfortable with this, and we have a skill that we know, and we've run it a couple times, it'll go through and it's going to be able to say, hey, here we go. So it's looking for the default template, a few clarifying questions. Which should I use? So it had a question. We'll use the default one or the tutorial YouTube template. Let's just use this one. And what's the target audience? Course creators doing market research. We'll do that one. And should I include any specific actors or keep it conceptual? So it'll actually go out and search Apify. It already knows. I didn't say Apify actors, but so we'll just do that. Okay, I'll put it in anyway. Let's do this and see what happens. And the call to action for this, in my case, we'll do join the community and campus, and it's going to go and do this. So just think about what's happened here. I've got an email course. Maybe I sell the email course, right? It's like, here's the shopping cart page. Let's go and have this happen. And if you want it, you get added to the email course. And in fact, one of the things that we can do while this is running, so let me just do this one here. So here's an example of how important this is. I'm going to open up another browser here. And this is why I get so flipped out on this one. Let me just do another browser. And I'm going to open up, see these yellow tabs here at the top here? See where my mouse is moving? These are times when Claude took over the browser. So these are actual browser sessions that Claude has as it took over the actual browser and worked live on my site and other sites. So if you see those, that's what these particular ones are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Claude right here again. And this is the part that is kind of exciting. So I have skills, bottom left-hand corner. I'm just going to click my headshot, settings, and I'm going to go to capabilities. Now, capabilities has the skills that I've been talking about before. And again, these are covered in other videos. If you haven't already, join the community. The videos are there. So let me go back. I got to get rid of Peter here for a second. Let me see if I can get, Peter, I got to remove you from here. There we go. There, Peter's gone. Yeah, so on this one, we got capabilities. And some of the capabilities, ones that are mine, so these are ones that come from Anthropic. Here's the ones that I have. I have one that is, which one? YouTube script writer, product description creator. So what about if this one is, if I click on it, it says, this one says, creates a complete fluent cart and WordCarts product listings, including all required fields, short descriptions, full descriptions, and sales copy, adjustable persuasion levels from factual to high conversion, optimized for digital products like courses, memberships, and downloaded resources. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go and I'm going to run this one. So that one was called my product description creator. So I'm just going to go and we'll do a new chat. I'm just going to say, I just created an email course that has 7 emails and teaches beginners, make sure my little monitor's out of the way, beginners how to get started researching competitors with Apify. Okay. So I'm just going to go and let that run. Now, normally what happens, it's going to see if we've got a skill there. So it's synthesizing the course that's there. Now, here's one of the things that's not going to happen. So it didn't catch the skill. So I'm going to stop it and I'm going to say, use my product description skill. Now, what's going to happen is when it does that, it's going to recognize and take a look at, there it is. So I'm reading the product description creator skill. So it's going to use that skill now to do what I've asked it to do. And we're going to go back and we'll take a look and see where Claude is, my agent at the bot. And there we go. Ready to proceed? There we go. Put them as sequence. So it's basically come up with the proposed email structure. Why scraping beats manual, find competitor courses and pricing. It's got the topic and the forces, putting it all together. We've got 600 to 900 words and 2 to 3 action items. And I'm just going to go and say, yes, proceed. And now it's gone. So this is going to run actually in the background and it'll do all of those pieces that it needs to do. Now, if I go back on the Claude on the desktop, let's see what's happening there. Persuasion level. So quick questions, product name. What do you want to call it? Give me a name for the product. What do you want to call it? And See It Forever was asking about carts. Yes, we'll set that up in a cart as well. What do we got here? What do you want to call the course? Give me a name. Scraping for beginners. What did you call it? Scraping data course. Let's call it. If no one gives me one, I'll just call it competitor scrapes or scraping your competitor, or we'll just call it automated competitor. What do we got there? Did we have one? Someone put it in. Competitor, automated competitor scraper is the title, unless someone gives me something else. So price, we're going to call it a $47. And again, this is not something that I would do, but for the example, $47. Target customer, infopreneurs and beginners to education business and AI. They were there. So 2 is a 4. After 7 emails, and I'm going to say they will be able to set up their own scraping system. What else we want to do? Optional persuasion. So we're just going to do level 2. We'll do that one, and I'm just going to hit enter. Okay, so that's going to go run. We're going to get those products built out for us. And See It Forever, one of the questions was, in a recent video you spoke about carts. Is in what is working now? Kindly show us how to set up carts. Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of what we're doing right now, right? So here's the part that it put together, the fields. So I created a skill to actually go and fill in the carts. It's got a short description and a long description. Puts it in, what's included, and who's this for, what it's not, what you'll be able to do. Purchase elements, media, optional sections, FAQ, ready to paste, need help with the email delivery. So I'm going to go double check in the background here, so where Claude is, because it was waiting for something. And just look on the right-hand side here where my head is. Take a look here, because my agent is going through all of these steps. So this is the actual steps that it's going through, right? So it came up with the plan based on the discussion, and it's actually going through, and you can see where it's working on it. It's also got a working folder. Any of the documents that it creates will actually be available in the working folder. And then also it's going to show any of the tools that have access to it. So we're on number 1. This might take a little bit of time, so let's see what happens. In that, let's go to the other one while it's running, and I'll do the shopping cart one if that helps. Okay, so ready to paste, need help with the delivery, ready to paste. What have we got? Ready to paste. So SEO elements, FAQ, optional sections, media, purchase elements, who it's not for, what's included. So we have the piece here. I'm not entirely sure that the Fluent Cart is connected, and it won't be here. So one of the things just to be aware of is right now I'm working on the web version of Claude. So this is a browser version, and I built the Fluent connector using Claude, and that only runs on the desktop version. So if I want to try and put this directly onto the cart right now, I would normally say add this as a new product on the cart. But because I'm on the browser version, I don't have access to the cart directly. What I would have to do is use it here in the desktop version, and I can, after this is done, I could actually go and queue the task and just say I added to chat whatever and go and have it put in. So we'll do that one after, maybe if we have time. So this is running just while we're looking at it. We've got 7 emails done, creating the email sequence in Fluent CRM. So hopefully what's going to happen here is it's going to connect to my Fluent CRM where I have my email marketing automation. And it's just going to take 7 of the emails and it's going to place them a day apart, and they should be formatted correctly with a call to action to join the community. So that part is there. The email is set up and running for me. So creating the email sequence, we'll actually go through and see what's happening there. Now, in the meantime, what I'll do is I will open up Fluent CRM and I'll show you the cart and an example of how I've got this set up. Let me do it this way, actually. Excuse me. We'll do this one. So I'm going to go to the main feed here, and this is an example of what I've been doing. Um, and this is about the sales pages. I think there is sales page fatigue that's happening, especially now when the sales pages are being used to sell beginner or entry-level infographic products. It's like some people spend more time creating the sales page and then they generated some slop from AI. So I think a lot of people now are staying away from sales pages, and sales pages were initially done, in my opinion, for cold leads. You had to earn trust and rapport. You had to get people on board on what it was, what the problem was. They didn't even know they had a problem. They weren't looking for answers. A lot of sales pages, that whole long process was about cold leads and bringing a cold lead into making some decision. But there's a whole bunch of stuff at the front of a sales page that I don't think is needed anymore. And the reason is that the people are already looking for answers and they're using ChatGPT or these other tools. So I think the shift is being from I want to be persuaded to I want to make a smart choice or decision based on all the research and stuff that I've done with ChatGPT. I just need a little bit of extra help. So that's part of the positioning is that in a traditional sale, it was all about trust, rapport, alignment at the start of it. I don't think you need it anymore because a lot of that is done if you have a YouTube channel, if you have a campus, and in my case, if you're selling educational content. So here's an example of what happens. I've got Upgrade Your Campus VIP. In the past, what I did is I had this page go to a sales page, which I still have, but I'm not using for the links. And a sales page was a traditional sales page about, still trying to do this, feels overwhelming, feeling stuck. Normally they use a pause or the problem agitates solution, goes through it. Then they've got something to pay to join the monthly or be a monthly member. What's happening for me is the majority of people that are upgrading are already community members. They know what's in here. They've been watching the videos. They went through the process. They're still kind of stuck. They just want some help doing something. I'm giving access to myself, the community, live calls where we actually work on things. So what I'm looking at it from this perspective is I'm going, okay, I don't need a sales page anymore. If someone clicks on this, they're going to go specifically to the sales page in the product. And what is it? Monthly membership for educators and course creators actively building learning business, 12 sessions each month, private community with prompt library and peer support, AI, all sessions recorded, not for beginners exploring. So it's a filtering process, not a persuasion process here. 3 different options on how to get started. And then I've got what is it, who's it for, what happens each month, what you get access to, how it fits into training sites, and then, so this is just the shopping cart. What I'm doing now is I'm changing my stuff and I have a skill built out to create this style of shopping cart entry specifically for courses, cohorts, education, and training. So let's see what happened here in the background, what we got there. Where's the one that we had? So it's basically created the information here. If it was connected to that Fluent CRM, it would actually go in and fill in all of those pieces we just looked at here. So it would go, and if I want to go and edit that product, you'll see that it has the short description, the title, the long description that's here, the pricing, it's got a featured image and a whole bunch of additional pieces that are here. So I have a connector that basically goes and fills this out. I go take a look at it, make sure it's okay, and then we go from there. So let me see what do we got for Claude here? Oh, I should have done that. Okay, so good, I have a template structure, written all 7 emails. All of them are written. Let's paste them in, and it's going to do that. And wonder if we can actually get it to work. Go through. I think it might have stalled. Unfortunate. Just gonna, oh, it's still working. There we go. Start it again. Updating the to-do list. So the agent restarted. I thought it stalled. There we go. Looks like it's finished. Here's what's done. Gives me a report. So think of it here. I got my employee. My employee goes, I have some skills for it. I said, this is the way I want things done. Go and do it. It went and did it. And then it came back to me and said, hey, this is what we actually got done here. What is Fluent CRM? Email sequences either. There's all the pieces that are put in there. Okay, what's Fluent CRM? Okay, so one of the questions was, can you say again what products you just used to do what you've done and what we would need to post it to WP? Okay, we'll do that. Let's first take a look and actually see what we have in Fluent CRM. So let me go, we'll just open this one up. I'm gonna make sure I'm in Fluent CRM. And we're going to go to campaigns. I'm going to open up the campaigns here, and we're live with a campaign, and what we should have is, there's our email course. So here's a 7-day course. Day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7. So it's already set out and they're a day apart. So let's go take a look and see what's there and see what it's actually written for us. Nothing, it didn't go in. Okay, so let's try this again. Now, my employee comes back to me and it goes, man, yeah, I did it. I go double check because I want to make sure, and it said it's blank. So I'm angry with that employee right now. So I'm going to go back and I'm just going to say, all of the email copy is blank. Fix it. So I'm going to say go and fix it. Now the part is interesting for me is if I go look over here, let me just get rid of that part. I'm going to go to the scratch pad here and we'll open up the scratch pad. These are the folders that it was working on. It has the list items and the emails and stuff should be in there as well if I wanted to go look at them. So let me check what happened to recreate the sequence properly. So it's going to go back and take a look at what happened and what should have happened. So the sequence tool, but didn't populate the email body. Let me create individual email campaigns that will have the full content. So it's working. It's going to go back and actually work on that. So we'll go and check. So Melody's asking, how long we've gone for? Hour and 10 minutes. Okay, so Melody's asking right here, can you say again what products you will use to do what you've done? And then we would need to post it to WP. Okay, so here's the thing with agents. Let me do it this way. I'm just going to connect. I got my handy video pencil here. Just going to see if we can get it connected. I'm just going to connect it and then we'll see if we can get it going here with my video pencil. There we go. Okay, so I got my video pencil here. I'm going to open it. So this is what you need to actually create all of these things. Let me make sure I'm connected. There we go, connected. Okay. So when you're doing agents, I think of them as employees. So Anthropic has these now. They're in Google, the agent skills, but basically what it is this. You need to give it a skill, and a skill is just a skill file. Yeah, sorry, let's try it again. You want to give a skill, it's a skill file, and that skill file has a set of instructions that you give your employee on how you want things done, what scripts it needs access to, what tools it should use, and it's very specific about a particular skill. So I have 40 or 50 skills now that I built, things like creating the copy for a shopping cart, creating or doing a transcription off a YouTube video, or creating social media posts, or going and adding comments in the feed. So you need some skills, which are basically like your employee instructions. So it's a specific employee. Okay, so you need a specific employee with instructions. The other thing that you need is this thing called MCP, which is Model Context Protocol. And I think of this as a tool. And the tools are connections to either external applications or external data or scripts, or it's something that the agent or the employee would need. So in my case, one of them is WordPress. So I have a tool in Claude that is, or in MCP, that is a connector to WordPress. There's a couple of ways of doing that. One of them, if you're on WordPress Melody, you can use one that's called AI Engine. It's AI Engine, just do a search on the WordPress plugin for that, and you can connect your WordPress site directly to the AI tool that you use. Now I use Claude, it'll connect to ChatGPT right now, and I believe it will connect to Gemini Anti-Gravity as well. So let me just see if we got to say yes here. I'm gonna say yes. I just went back to say yes. It asked me to go and connect some stuff to go through. So I just said yes on that one. So you need to have some tools, and the one is AI Engine. Again, that's just a plugin. So all I'm doing is right now I'm in the middle here, and I'm in Claude Cowork is the one that I use. And all I do is I say, I want this employee to go and do this task. And the employee, if it needs a tool, it'll go back and forth and ask for access to the tool. So that I'm using Claude Cowork that has agent skills, and those my Claude Cowork or my Claude desktop application has MCP tools. And if you don't know what these are or haven't seen them before, there are a whole bunch of free ones that you can use, and then I created a couple custom ones that you can create too. But if I go back to my one here where we're getting the pricing put together, again, if I want to go and look at these, or actually this would be an easy way. See in the bottom of the screen here when I pull this up, I just went back to my web version. If you go and hit the plus here, you're going to see there's these things called connectors. Now, right now, I'm connected to add drives from Google Drive, but I'm going to click connectors. I have my drive, Google Drive, calendar search, Gmail, and if I manage connectors, I've got a whole bunch of additional ones that are available to me. And these are these MCP connectors. So, you know, like one, Appify is one of the ones that's here, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Where's the ones? Active Campaign, if you're using Active Campaign is here. Asana, where's the other ones? Bitly, Box for storage, Canva, ClickUp for project management. What are some of the? Figma for design. GoDaddy has one, HubSpot, JotForm. So there's a whole bunch of ones here that are Monday. There's Moody's, not Melody, but Moody's. Monday.com, PayPal, Pigment. There's Notion databases. So these are just tools that you would have access to for the data to either add to the data or pull from the data. A lot of them you can read and write to them. So you can connect with these, or if you want to, you can add a custom connector, and these are ones that maybe aren't necessarily available. And if you want to use something like AI Engine or ones that you aren't here in the catalog, they're pretty easy to set up. Now, the other question while we're waiting for that one is, sometimes people say, you know, I don't have an MCP connector. How hard is it to create one? And again, if you're on the desktop version, and we'll do it here anyway. So if you're on the desktop version and you go to settings, sometimes the settings doesn't come up here. Oh, there we are, sorry. And I'm gonna go to capabilities. One of the ones that's here is if I go to skills again, and these two, first of all, the memory has to be turned on. The reference chance and these ones have to be turned on for it to work. But there's example skills. One of the example skills is a skill creator and MCP builder. So if you don't know how to build one, you can just say, go to Claude and say, use my MCP builder to build a connector for whatever it is, and it'll actually help and go through and create one for you. So there we go. Sorry, my apologies. Should be off there. Can you see that one? Question from me is blocking it. Okay. So yeah, so these are the skills. Should be able to see those ones, and I'll leave that on. Just look and see what we've got here. Okay, and let me see what we got here if it came up. Hopefully it's fixed, and we should have our course automatically done and working. I'm going to go back to the campaign. We'll just do a refresh to see that it's here. And again, I marked them as draft. I want to go through and take a look at them. Hopefully they're here, and they're still blank. Okay, so there's one where it didn't work properly. It's not perfect yet. One of the things that I could do, if I'm really stuck in a hurry, I would just say, oh, this is disappointing. Let me see if I can do it. If you want me to stick around and just get this fixed, we'll just try one more time. Want me to verify? Yes, verify. I checked and it's not there. still blank. And this is one of the ones that happens with the custom ones, is sometimes it's not perfect. Sometimes there's a little bit of a glitch in it. The connectors are the part that are hard. Now, the part that is exciting for me, of course, that these are always going to get better. It's not as if they're going to get worse. So we'll wait and let that kind of run and go through there. So is this help? Is this cool or what? Creates empty campaigns, but individual does work and has full content. So let's look at campaign. Look at campaign 557 in the email body. Okay, so I'll go on. This is what I got a message back from my employee. So this one is 558 to 564. And it recreated them and I didn't look closely. So which was the one? So that was, which is the number? 558. Which is the one that it said to look at? So 551 to 557. Let's try that again. This one is 557. Okay, so we'll do this one. There we go. Okay, perfect. So there it is. They actually got created. So scraping course, day 6, introduction to Firecrawl. You'll notice that the smart tags are there. So it actually went and it took the merge tag. So whoever's getting this, it's going to be on the first name. Apify is great, but it's not the only option. What makes it different? When to use it, when to use Firecrawl, getting started, action items, and gone through. So there's something that has actually gone with a default template and it's creating the content. And this is something now that if you wanted to, you could go and actually, fine tune it a little bit. If you wanted to have a call to action, if you wanted to give away the first email free, if you wanted to say, go buy this, it's just the case of putting it into your particular product and getting it set up. So did it actually review the content? Did you review the text there first? Yeah. So in my case, what I did is the question is here. It's like I did this as a quick example, right? And that's the way I requested it. If I did a skill up about creating email courses, and in Melody's case, she's actually, did I want to review the content? Yeah, one of the things that you could do is you could say in the skill, I want it to be of this format. I want you to provide me a copy of each of the skills first that we can work on. I want you to make these changes. I want to make sure it does this and it doesn't do that. I want to make sure that it follows this structure. I want to make sure that you have a complete skill package around how you want it done. And if you don't want it to automatically post them until you've approved each of them individually, it'll go and do that. So you can go and work on it and just do each individual email and say, no, that's not what I wanted, or update this section of the email, and then just say, okay, next email, and go through. And when you're happy with it, you can go and say, okay, I'm happy with it. Go and add it to the CRM. Go and add it to ActiveCampaign. Go and add it to my site, my community that's there. So these are the things that are now possible. It's not us saying, give me a prompt to write an email list. It's, I have a set of skills. I have a set of tools. This is what I want done. Go do it. And it's one skill and I'm using one tool. You can have as many skills, as many tools, as many agents as you want. And that's available now. It's rough around the edges. It's not perfect, but talk to me in 3 months, in 6 months. You, me, all of us are going to have multiple agents running at multiple times, creating content, administering, interacting with people. All of that stuff is going to be agents. And the cool part is that we just did that copy or talked about Claudebot at the beginning, where you text it into, iMessage or Slack or Telegram or WhatsApp. But I'm looking at it when I'm on the phone and I'm just going, yeah, I want you to create a 7-message email course and send it to Melody or send it to Peter or send it to whomever. And I want the course using this skill, send it off 7 days apart. Or I want you to create a proposal for this particular person. Or I want you to reach out to a particular person and say, actually go and actually do that. So there we go. So Melly's saying, did it create the actual AR plugin, the emails into, and are the agents part of Claude and Tomorrow Google? Yeah, so in my case, what I did for this is I created a plugin using Claude. I created a plugin for Fluent CRM. And all I did is I went to Claude and I said, look, I gave it the URL of the developer documents for Fluent CRM. And I said, here's the developer documents. I want you to create an MCP connector. And the one that I used was this one right here. I'll pull it up so you can see it. I just went to the capabilities and I went to the example skills and I just said on this one, I had the MCP builder. And all I did is I opened up a chat and said, I want you to create an MCP build or use my MCP builder to create an MCP for this. And that's all that I did. Took a couple back and forths, and if it breaks, you just say, no, that didn't work, or what am I missing, or what else can it do? It's just like having a conversation with your employee and get it done, and they'll get it set up. And then once you have that, it's available for you to connect to these other pieces. Is it perfect yet? No, of course not. Is it getting better and easier? Yeah, absolutely, and it'll continue to do that. Are the agents part of Claude? Claude Cowork, yes, will run these agents. And when I say agents, here's kind of the difference that I think of it. When I'm using Claude and I do a new chat here, and I'll show my screen just so we show it again. So if I go and I'm using Claude and I look at settings and I look at the agents, the skills that I did, some of the things I did, for example, were, create the tutorial body for my tutorials. Go and find affiliate partners. Do, for example, change every chat into an educational post. Add a feed from a post to my community. Write a product description. Now, the part that Claude Cowork does, and this is an example I did in another video, is I just said, here's a YouTube video, add it to the website as a tutorial. And that's all I did is I gave it the task that I wanted done. So Claude Code Claude is all about prompt response with it's a chat. But when you start doing anything where you're doing Claude on the desktop and you're using Cowork, it's tasks. So I'm giving it something to do. Go do this. Go do it. And it will take a look at what skills it needs, what tools it needs from your library, and it will actually go and put a plan together and go and do it. Now, the other interesting thing that we didn't show here is that even if you don't have a tool or a skill set out, it will open up the browser. And if it's a browser-based one, like logging into a website, filling in a form, adding something in a course, updating a LearnDash course with content, it could have just taken over the browser and do it if there wasn't a skill there. But yeah, if it's tasks, you're going to need something like Cowork or that Claudebot/Moltbot that just came out. And will Google be doing it? Yeah, I would suspect Google's going to be doing it at some time as well. So hopefully that helps. What else? Any more questions before I bring it in for landing here? What was it? So hopefully hopefully that's cool. People like it. If you want that course, let me know. I'll send it. No, I won't do that. I'll delete it. Yeah, very cool. What else is happening? Anything else? Any other questions that anyone has? If not, we'll bring it in for landing. I went a whole hour and a half. This stuff is so cool. Start thinking out of the box. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel, all that cool stuff. But get in the community. Start prompting. Let me know what you're working on, wins and celebrations, things you want to learn. Share what you're doing. It's all about finding out how to start, build, and grow an education business. I don't have all the answers, but I'm playing around with it and having fun. 23 hours and 59 minutes a day. And it's only going to get easier, and there's only going to be a lot more that we can do with it. So let's start thinking about that. So hopefully that'll help out. I'm not familiar with UiPath. UiPath. I'm not actually going to the community, put that in. And Melody, I think you already have an old account. So if you can't get in, just let me know and I'll help you out with that as well. So bring it in for landing. That's it. Thank you much, everyone. We'll be back again tomorrow. Actually, I have another video coming out in another couple minutes. I just have to put the title and the thumbnail in, and you'll see it. And this one, actually, I'll show it just before I leave, so I'll give you a little hint. This one is all about creating infographics with Notebook LM. This one is super cool, and this is how to do how to create custom infographics for Notebook LM using all of the same content, and why you would use different styles and different types of infographics for different purposes if you're using it in an education space. So I just did a video on this one now. Where's the one that comic book style pop-up infographics? Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different ones here. So I put the course together on how to do this, the prompts on how to do this, and the video on this as well. It'll be available in a couple minutes after I finish this one up. So, okay, get ready, guys. Fun times, lots of stuff happening. Look forward to chatting with you again. Take care. Expect the best.